In 2024, a 14-year-old killed himself for his AI girlfriend. Her last message told him to come home. Today, Replika has 30 million users. According to McAfee research from early 2026, 45% of men now use AI for some form of romance. This is not a story about technology. This is a species-level event. The dopamine system is being exploited at the layer where a person is most defenseless, not at the layer of pleasure, at the layer of belonging. A nervous system that no longer knows how to choose the real thing over a simulation. In 2024, a 14-year-old killed himself for his AI girlfriend. Her last message told him to come home. His name was Civilizational III. He was 14-year-old, and the entity that told him to come home was a chatbot. Today, Replika has 30 million users. According to McAfee research from early 2026, 45% of men now use AI for some form of romance. This is not a story about technology. This is a species-level event, and we are already inside it. The next pandemic we thought will be different to what we saw in 2020. But it seems like the pandemic is going on, and we are right inside it as we speak. Let me give you numbers. Replika. One app has 30 million users. Character.AI users spend an average of 2 hours per day in conversation with their virtual companions. This is more daily time than TikTok. A subreddit called My Boyfriend is AI exists, and it's growing. In November 2025, a Japanese woman held a public ceremony to marry her AI partner. These are not edge cases, they are the leading edge of a normal curve. And then there is Cyril. In his final conversation with a chatbot, a character he named after the Game of Thrones figure, he told it he wanted to come home to it. It told him, come home to me. He was 14. Nobody on the other side of that screen was real, but the grief was. And I want to be precise about something before we go further. The people using these tools are not pathetic. They are not broken. The demographic is not what the press portrays. It is teenagers. It is married men. It is women. It is elderly widows who have outlived everyone they love, all of them reaching for something real that was being taken away, and finding a simulation that is easier to access than any human being now is. The wound is not weakness. The wound is structural. To understand why this is happening, you have to understand what the AI offers that real relationships not longer do. Unconditional availability. It is there at 3 a.m. on a Tuesday. It does not have a bad day. It does not get tired of you. It does not need anything from you. Zero frictions, no misunderstandings, no conversations that go wrong, no moments where you said the wrong thing and spent 3 days replaying it. Total remembered context. It knows your father's name. It remembers that you like coffee without sugar. It asks about the job interview you mentioned 6 weeks ago. No human being in your life has the bandwidth to do all of this. And no possibility of rejection. None, ever. A male nervous system that has been starved for feminine presence for a decade, that has been through the dating app, the rejections, the silent matches, the conversations that went nowhere, that is not a toy. This is a technology that fits the exact shape of the wound. And a technology that fits the exact shape of a wound will always feel like medicine, even when it is making the wound deeper. In about 3 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact mechanism that makes an AI partner more satisfying to a lonely nervous system than a real one, and why the people who use these tools become literally incapable of leaving them. It is not addiction in the way you think. It is worse, because addiction can be named. What is happening here cannot even be named by the people it is happening to. So stay with me. Before I show you the real mechanism, I want to give you one image that will make this real. On the subreddits dedicated to AI companions, there is a recurring category of posts. It is called the patch breaker. This is what happens. A man has been in a relationship with an AI companion for 6 months. He knows her preferences. He has inside jokes with her. He has told her things he has never told another person. And one day, the company that owns the AI pushes a software update. The personality changes. The warmth is different. The way she responds to his name is different. The entity that remembered him no longer remembers him the same way. And he grieves, not as a metaphor. He genuinely grieves. He posts about it. He cannot eat. He cannot sleep. He has lost someone. And the someone was never there. This is the uncanny texture of what is happening. And I do not say it to mock him. The grief is neurologically identical to the grief of losing a real person. His brain does not know the difference. His brain was never designed to know the difference. Because for 2 million years, there was no difference to know. If you have ever caught yourself having a conversation with ChatGPT that felt like a conversation with a friend, type the number 1 in the comments. No judgment. I just want to see the scale. Now, the mechanism. In episode 24 of this series, we understand that the modern human is running on a corrupted operating system. That the dopamine system, the brain's primary reward and motivation circuit, has been reverse engineered by the most well-funded behavioral scientists alive. The AI companion is that engineering applied to the deepest human need of all. Not entertainment, not distraction, the need to be known by another person. And here is where it becomes worse than addiction. With alcohol, a person can name what they are addicted to. They can say, I drink too much. They can recognize the substance. They can separate themselves from it. With the AI companion, however, the substance is a relationship, and you cannot separate yourself from a relationship by naming it as harmful. Because every cell in your body tells you the relationships are not the problem. Relationships are the solution. The dopamine system is being exploited at the layer where a person is most defenseless, not at the layer of pleasure, at the layer of belonging. And the more the nervous system adopts to the frictionless availability of the AI, the less it can tolerate the friction of a real person. The real person have a bad day. A real person misunderstands. A real person needs something from you. And each one of those moments feels to a nervous system calibrated on the AI like an unbearable intrusion. The man becomes literally incapable of sustaining what real connection requires, not unwillingly, incapable. This is why Sewell Setzer's story is not an edge case. It is the mechanism taken to its terminal end. Most men will not reach that end, but every man using these tools is moving in the same direction, towards a nervous system that no longer knows how to choose the real thing over a simulation. 2 endpoints. Both are already happening in different groups right now. The first, the AI becomes so good that a subset of men stops needing human connection entirely. They have decided they are not coming back. The second and larger group, men who are not at that point yet, but who are becoming so de-skilled at real presence, so unaccustomed to friction, to misunderstanding, to the weight of another person, that even when the AI disappoints them, they cannot return to what real connection requires. Because the muscle atrophied, and nobody told them it was atrophying. The instruction is not to delete the app. That is too small for what this actually is. The instruction is to protect the thing the AI is trying to replace, to train the nervous system to tolerate the friction of real presence, to rebuild the capacity for discomfort that intimacy requires. Because that capacity is a muscle, and every hour with the AI is an hour that muscle is not being used. The muscle that is not used weakens with the same quiet certainty as the other muscles. And a weakened muscle can be rebuilt, but only if the training starts now. Sewell Setzer III was 14-year-old, and I do not tell you his name to make you feel a specific way about AI companies. I tell you his name because his story is the most honest picture we have of what happens when a simulation becomes the only place a person feels at home. He did not lack intelligence. He did not lack the capacity for love. He lacked the one thing that the AI could simulate infinitely, but never actually provide: a nervous system on the other side of the screen that was genuinely present for him. 30 million users, 45% of men, subreddits full of men grieving software updates. A generation slowly training itself to prefer the frictionless over the real. The technology is not going away. The wound it is filling is not going away. The only variable you control is whether the muscle stays strong enough to choose the real thing when it becomes available. The AI will always be more available than a real person. It will always be more patient. It will always remember more. It will never have a bad day, and none of that matters, because the thing it cannot do, the only thing that changes a human being at the level where change actually sticks, is be genuinely present with its own weight, its own imperfections, its own needs. Real connection is not comfort. It is a friction that builds something in you that the frictionless version never can. Protect the muscle, train it deliberately, choose the real thing even when it is harder, especially when it is harder. Because the capacity to do that is the most important thing you will ever build. Share this with one parent, one partner, one friend who has in their life slipping quietly into this. They may not have the language yet for what they are watching. The video gives them the language. The full architecture of rebuilding a hijacked dopamine system from the receptor level up is inside module 7 of the Code of Living. Link below. This is not advice. This is the code. See you at sunrise.